Have you ever heard of proxy politics? When powerful political actors, like the ruling party, uses less prominent individuals or groups to carry out actions that they may do not wish themselves to be directly associated with. This provides what in law they call plausible deniability. Imagine waking up in a democracy where elections no longer matter, where MPs can be removed not by the people who voted them, but by a man you have never voted for, let alone a man you have never heard of. This isn't fiction. It is Zimbabwe today. ZANU-PF facing very strong opposition in parliament. They pulled off what I like to think is a political masterstroke, using a little non-political figure called Sangezo Tshabangu. With the stroke of a pen, entire constituencies were left voiceless. This is a story of parliamentary capture, betrayal, and the quiet coup that rewrote Zimbabwe's democracy without a single gunshot fired. At the center of the story is a man called Sengezo Tshabangu. Following Zimbabwe's 2023 harmonized elections, the nation anticipated a new chapter in its parliamentary democracy. However, questions regarding the true independence and functionality of the legislative army persist. So, today we are talking about the parliamentary capture, which refers to the subtle or overt ways in which Parliament's legislative agenda oversight functions and representative role may be compromised or directed by forces other than the national interest or the will of the electorate as expressed in the 2023 elections or any elections for that matter. A key episode illustrating this was the rise of Sangezo Tshabangu and his role in recalling elected opposition members of parliament, ultimately handing over seats to ZANU-PF. Now, here is how this unfolded and how it ties into the concept of state capture. We've been speaking of state capture for a while now, and this must be episode either number 8 or number 9, detailing how state capture is in the state of state capture in Zimbabwe. So, who is Sangezo Tshabangu? This is a guy who is a former MDCT member with a history of opposition politics. A history, yes, not unknown. He was known. Mainly, he was recognized at regional level in Matabeleland, not widely known or visible in mainstream politics, nevertheless. Before 2023, that is. He claims to be the interim Secretary General of the CCC back then and even now, a position the party never formally created or recognized. Now, here is to what I call the Tshabangu effect and the erosion of democratic oversight. So in August 2023, Zimbabwe holds harmonized elections. CCC, or Citizens Coalition for Change, wins significant parliamentary seats. It was led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Disputed the result was, but seen as a strong showing by the opposition. That was in August 2023. Now come October, that was August, and then come October 2023, Sengezo Tshabangu emerges publicly. Now he claims to be interim Secretary General of CCC. We thought it was a joke. That can never happen. Who is this guy? We don't know this guy. It appears as a joke. Now the guy sends letters to the Speaker of Parliament recalling 15 CCC MPs and senators. The grounds for recalling them: MPs allegedly ceased to be party members. Members, however, had never notified the party that they have ceased to be members of the party. Mid-October 2023, Parliament accepted the recalls. No verification from CCC leadership, CCC leadership. Parliament Speaker Jacob Mdenda from ZANU-PF political party announces vacancies. ZEC quickly sets by-elections. Come to November to December 2023, by-elections are held. Many CCC members are barred from contesting under the CCC banner. ZANU-PF wins several key constituencies by default or through split opposition votes, where you have more than one candidate from the same opposition. Late 2023, early 2024, we have CCC's legal fight. Now CCC files agent applications to stop recalls and challenge the authority of Sangezo Tshabangu. Courts declined, however, to overturn the recalls. SADC and observers who had participated in the 2023 elections, they raised concerns over democratic backsliding because it was obvious what was now happening in Zimbabwe. By early 2024, Tshabangu recalls more members of parliament. The total now exceeds 30 CCC members of parliament. ZANU-PF by this time gains a near two-third majority. CCC weakened in parliament and voters have been left disenfranchised. Right, but here we see complicity of institutions. Despite the obvious lack of legitimacy of Sengezo Tshabangu, Parliament, the Speaker Jacob Mdenda, and the Zimbabwe Election Commission accepted Tshabangu's recalls, and they did this without verifying his authority. The courts also viewed as compromised, refused to intervene or question Tshabangu's standing. And this we have highlighted when we spoke of judiciary capture in one of the previous episodes. As a result, by-elections were triggered and ZANU-PF won several of these seats, regaining its two-third majority in parliament. Now, this sequence reflects state capture through judiciary and legislative capture. Legal and parliamentary institutions acted in the interests of the ruling party, not in the interest of justice or law, as should be. Electoral manipulation by using an illegitimate figure to engineer recalls, the ruling elite circumvented the will of the voters that had been expressed in August 2023. Weak part protection laws. So we see here that the system has enabled an outsider to hijack the opposition's internal processes without institutional pushback, not even a little bit pushback. So now let's be clear. That was not political theater. It was not drama. It was not a movie. It was not a series. It's not Jack Chan, Jet Li. It was parliamentary capture. Parliamentary capture is when the ruling elite co-opts the legislative branch, turning it into a tool to rubber stamp decisions. You know, they are never questioned, they are never argued against, they just come, okay, this is the decision, okay, let's stamp it, then it's done. That is the objective of co-opting the legislature. Now, instead of holding the executive accountable, what happened through Tshabangu was a textbook case of a fake opposition figure backed by compliant state institutions, your judiciary, your parliament. And what did this do? It restructured the opposition from outside. So what does this matter? This matters because it kills Parliament's ability to act as a check on power. It tells voters that your vote can be reversed behind the closed doors. It sets a precedent where opposition MPs serve at the pleasure of the state, not the people, because it's not the people who put them. The ones who were put by the state, they were recalled. So we have already seen the consequences of this. Laws like the Private Voluntary Organizations Amendment Act has been passed, which clamps down on civil society. We can't go into detail about this law. It warrants an episode of its own. The ruling party is now pushing towards amending the constitution to extend the term of the president, something the original parliament composition just after 2023 August could have blocked. This is more than just politics, it's the erosion of democracy. When parliament is captured, representation becomes an illusion, the people's voice muffled, the opposition fragmented, the constitution rewritten for power, not for protection. So as we continue to watch the fallout from the 2023 elections, remember this: state capture doesn't just happen at the ballot box. Sometimes it creeps in through the back door, disguised as a bureaucracy, pegged by silence, and executed in the name of legal process. I have mentioned a number of times, the Gupta state capture in South Africa is kindergarten as compared to state capture in Zimbabwe. All arms of the state are gone. It involves the executive, it involves the judiciary, it involves the legislature. Well, that is it for today's episode. If you find this analysis insightful, make sure to subscribe, share it with your networks, and let us know your thoughts. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged.